Welcome to the Daily Gospel of John. So we're moving on in chapter 4, 25 through 30. Jesus is engaged in kind of a conversational dance with this Samaritan woman. First, at the well, he asks her for a drink. She says, "Well, you're a Jew, I'm a Samaritan, and I'm a woman. Why are you even talking to me?" And he says, "If you knew who I was, you would ask me, and I would give you living water, water that will satisfy your deepest desires." And she says, "Sir, give me this water. Yes, I don't want to thirst again." And he says, "Go get your husband." And she says, "Well, I don't have a husband." He says, "I know. You've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with is not your husband." And she says, "I perceive you're a prophet." And then proceeds to ask a spiritual question. And he answers her question and tells her that your spiritual question isn't even the real issue. What the real issue is that God is seeking worshipers who will worship him in spirit and truth. And we're picking up there. She says, the woman said, "I know that Messiah is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us." Then Jesus declared, "I who speak to you am he." Just then his disciples returned and were surprised to find him talking with a woman, but no one asked, "What do you want?" or "Why are you talking with her?" Then, leaving her water jar, the woman went back to the town and said to the people, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be the Christ?" They came out of the town and made their way toward him. Okay, so he is now revealed progressively who he is. He's not just a prophet. He is promised Messiah. And here's this uneducated woman. Interesting that she was aware that people were anticipating the arrival of Messiah in that day. And in the past, I've spoken about many of those prophecies that were fulfilled in Jesus. But Jesus said, "I am he. I am Messiah." Just then the disciples, good timing, they returned from the village of Sychar. They had picked up lunch, came back, and it says the woman, leaving her jar behind, her water jar, went back to the town. And now that's really interesting, and I think very symbolic here, is this water jar was the purpose of her coming to the well. She came to get water. And I think symbolized in that water jar was that human thirst, that spiritual thirst as well, that continually had to be refilled with the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, never totally satisfying. And so interestingly, having spoken with Jesus and met him as Messiah, now she leaves her water jar behind, forgets the water jar, heads back to town on a mission. She's got to tell somebody she's met Messiah. She's excited. And she goes into the town. Now, this is a little Samaritan village. If this woman has had 5 husbands and is now sleeping with a man who's not her husband, I'm sure the people of the town know all that. Little towns, everybody knows everything. Perhaps even the reason she was at the well alone instead of with all the other women, maybe because they didn't like her. But whatever the case, she doesn't care. She's met Jesus. Everything's different now. And she's got to tell somebody. But I think it's interesting that what she says, or how she says it, "Come see a man who told me everything I ever did." Now wait a minute. All Jesus told her is, "I know your past. I know your reputation. I know about the 5 husbands, and I know about the one you're with now." And yet that was how she defined herself, apparently. That was her identity. She said, "Come see a man who told me everything I ever did." Well, he didn't tell her about what she did when she was a little girl. He didn't tell her about her 1st and 2nd and 3rd birthday parties. He didn't tell her about her hopes and dreams as a young woman before things all fell apart. But her identity had become balled up in that. I'm the screw up. I'm the woman who can't keep a husband. I'm the woman who's got the reputation of the husband stealer, whatever it may have been. But it's sad. And so many of us, we have failed and we've messed up, and that we've allowed that to become our identity. And Jesus wants to put his finger on that thing, not so he can condemn us. As we read in chapter 3, He didn't come to condemn the world, but to save the world. He came, yes, he wants to put his finger on it, but more like the surgeon, so he can remove that negative, condemning identity and give us new life, as it says in 2 Corinthians 5. If anyone is in Christ as Messiah, they become a new creation. Old things are passed away and all things have become new. So this woman doesn't even mind saying publicly, come see, could this be the Christ? And something about the way she invited and who, that maybe it was the change they saw in her that compelled these people, the whole village, it says, started to make their way out to see this Jesus, Messiah character. Pretty awesome story. Well, we'll pick up tomorrow in verse 31. God bless.